Welcome to the 154th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast.
So damn paranormal.
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show, and with me, as always, is...
Oscar Spector, right?
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Producer extraordinaire and podcast co-host. 6 months, dude. It's been 6 months since we've been on these mics. Going on 7.
You know, that's like, I don't know how many thousands of mayflies' lifetimes, you know. They die in less than 24 hours.
Mayfair Witches.
Mayfair Witches?
That was a series we were watching and I liked.
Oh, okay.
Before we jumped on the mics, we spent like an hour and a half talking about
from 3 hours ago
movies and series we've been watching since. Cause I haven't seen you since December.
Oh yeah, it's been that long. Yeah,
catching up. Mayfair Witches. You say Mayflies, Mayfair.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, crazy. 6 months. A lot has been going on.
Yeah,
this is going to be kind of an update episode on.
It's an election year, folks.
Yes, it is. Get out and vote. I'm not talking politics, but this is going to be a catch-up episode on the Long Island serial killer.
I thought it was more of a catsup episode.
Catsup. What was the joke from
what?
Pulp Fiction?
That's like roughly that joke. It's like baby tomato, mama tomato, baby papa tomato walking on the street and
gave him a
baby
slap
tomato gave him a slap. Yeah, that's what she said. It's like lagging behind and the father goes, squishes it and says, catch up.
That's what it was.
That's something dumb.
It's so much better when Uma says it.
Well, it's Uma.
Mm. Yeah, Uma's kind of out. Now it's her daughter, Maya. Yeah, she's kind of in there.
A Nepo baby. A lot of them popping up these days.
Yeah, there is.
A lot of them. Yeah.
But we're already getting off track here.
Yeah, we are.
So how have you been, man? 6 months.
So I've been in a deep dark hole. So you know how people do crazy things in the world, like do these little individual personal achievements in the world that are sometimes are consequential, sometimes they make the headlines, most times they're just famous maybe to their neighbors, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to dig a hole from United States to China for the last 6 months. I'm about 5% of the way there. Yeah. That's what I've been doing.
Better than what I've been doing.
You had no idea where I was going with that.
I didn't. I was, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know.
What don't I know?
I'm making it up. I've done nothing.
It's 6 months, done nothing. Yeah, pretty much kind of the same thing here.
I make Legos, I watch movies, I play games, I quit and start new jobs. That's
what I do.
It's really so inconsequential.
Yeah. Anything we do in the big picture is very inconsequential.
Well, 100%. That's true.
We just got back from New Orleans, like literally 4 days ago. We just got back from New Orleans.
You were like, hey, on your vacation, you're like, hey, when I get back, do you want to record? And I'm like, new phone, who dis? No, I didn't say that. I said, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 6 months, a lot has been going on with this case.
That's
this
true.
Long Island serial killer case.
Spoiler alert, if you read the title of this episode, you know what it's about.
That's right. A few people wrote us and said, hey, you got to do an update episode, and they were right.
People still remember our account and our existence? That's crazy. You guys are super fans.
Believe it or not, this time we actually mean we got stuff in the bank. We're going to have some releases coming up.
I think we said that last time.
That's what I'm saying. This time we mean it. We actually have stuff.
I had it back then, too. I'm kidding.
Written, ready to go. We'll record it and get it out. Anyone who's stuck around with us this long with these gaps that we've been taking, man, we really appreciate it. That's some loyalty. Now go tell all your friends.
Right. Especially if you want to wait a little bit until we have a few more in the bank so you can come back and tell your friends, wait, they have these latest ones right here. You don't have to, you don't have to do the waiting. It's done. All done. These next few are out. Right.
It's like those Netflix series that just release everything at once, as opposed to waiting week to week.
The Bear, the new season got dropped today.
Yes,
in its entirety.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. I started planning my day today
around the Bear.
To watch all of the Bear, at least half, maybe half now, half.
Season 3.
Season 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I have to record today.
Damn, Jay.
Fuck.
The one time in 6 months. So the Bear, for those who don't know, it's based on... Is it Al's Beef? I think it's Al's Beef.
It's like Al's Beef.
It's got to be Al's Beef. Yeah. It's a famous Chicago beef stand. Al's is one of the ones who are always fighting who came up with the Chicago beef first. And Al's is one of those that are always up there in the top saying, no, we were the ones that invented the Italian beef, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know if it's saying it's about the invention of the Italian beef.
No, but Al's, the restaurant's...
Oh, okay. It's like a type, yeah.
Yeah, who brought the Italian beef to Chicago. But yeah, that's what it's about. It's about a beef stand in Chicago.
It's loosely about a beef stand. It's about the guy's passion and inspiration leading to the creation of something where, by all rights, based on his history with his family, maybe surprised that he can do it at all. Honestly,
right? Yeah. But he's like this culinary whiz.
Yeah, 100%.
Who steps down from these very prestigious roles to run this beef stand, which I think is
whose brother
based off of
committed suicide and inherited to him. By the way, that's how it was. That's how I started.
Right. Spoiler alert? I'm not sure.
First episode, bro.
First episode. So anyway, go check out The Bear. But yeah. Otherwise, I just got back from New Orleans. Right. Family's doing great. My daughter just turned 16 years old. Listeners who've been with us since the beginning.
You can hear the gray hair from here,
probably
folks.
Remember my daughter years ago on this show and her little squeaky voice talking.
Oh my God, I should look up those episodes.
Now I just got her a car for her 16th birthday, so she's out there driving, and it's insane.
Before people ask, tell them what the make and model. Obviously not the plate or anything. But.
No, it was a Kia 2018 Kia Optima. Beautiful car.
Super respectable pick.
Beautiful car, fully loaded, and we're talking sunroof, no leather seats. I don't give a shit about leather seats, but all the technology and all the safety features, and it's this beautiful blue color and super low miles,
neon coloring,
35,000 miles. Man, we got a good one for her. So yeah, it's crazy.
There's a toilet in there.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
My son turned 11. He's still great. My wife's doing
my
great.
nephew's almost 11 too in August.
Oh right, Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another time goes, and
time leaves you behind.
It really does, and you just don't realize it until these milestone things happen. Where she's got her license now. She's out there. Hey, I'm going to go to the store. Or I'm going to go pick up so and so.
I'm going to go pay my taxes, Dad. Be right back.
Yeah,
right.
It's just you're like, wow. But the first night when she got her license, she went out the very first time. And I just stood outside and just watched her back out. She waved.
Bro.
Of course, I'm super emotional.
Right.
And there she goes down the street. It was at nighttime, so you see her brake lights. And just something in that one instant changed. You're not so much needed any longer.
Yeah.
They're more independent.
Right.
But 10 minutes later, she sent me and Katie a text saying, I'm terrified without you guys. And that just... You don't want them to be,
right?
In that moment,
affirming.
That you've, that you were there for her, that you always protected her, and now that you're not there, she realizes and recognizes, holy shit, mom and dad aren't here. This is very scary. You know? But so that happened.
That's crazy.
That happened. We brought her boyfriend to New Orleans with us.
You bought a boyfriend for your daughter?
No, that would be prostitution.
Or slavery, I guess.
She's got a boyfriend, and they've been together over a year, I think, now, and took him to New Orleans with us, which was challenging to accept at first.
Right.
But I finally did it, and it was great.
I'll tell you this, my parents will never be that cool.
Yeah. And it all worked out fantastic. He's a great kid.
No, he is. He's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's been going on with me. Job situation sucks.
Although, don't tell him I said that.
Right, yeah. Never let them know.
Jesus Christ.
Never let them know.
Anyway, you were saying.
No, just job situation sucks. Not even going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Ditto. Hardcore ditto. I made new Legos. That's really all I got.
Oh, you said S at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Lego people would kill you.
Why?
Because you're not supposed to. It's not Legos. It's Lego.
Fuck them. It's like the Ukraine and Ukraine. They can fucking find me.
I'm just saying.
I've made new Lego sets. Is that what
Ukraine and the Ukraine.
Yeah.
I caught that. You're right.
That's what I know.
The Ukraine symbolizes Russian ownership.
Connection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Ukraine is independent.
Right.
Very good.
That's why I said that.
Not a lot of people realize that.
Yeah. Thank you.
When I watch movies or even
so maybe Legos are not a big deal is my point.
Right. Again, in the grand scheme of things,
right? Yeah, compared to Ukraine.
But I always, when I'm watching movies or even the news, and they say the Ukraine, I'm like,
you do that thing from that movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's great.
So anyway, and other than that, been writing, man. Like I said, I got some episodes in the bank.
Yeah,
excited about that. How about you?
What's the return on that? What's the like interest rate on that bank?
Not enough.
Not enough, huh? I also have two. I have two shows ready ready to go. It's whenever, And I'm in the middle of 2 other ideas I started, or 2 other ones that I've half written already. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Cool.
With ideas. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Right? No. Well, listeners, keep a listening, and tell your friends. You know who I love? Gypsy Rose.
Why do I know that?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the Munchausen.
Yes. Oh, I mean, you love?
I love it. Love everything about it.
So you saw that show on Hulu?
Every one of them. I'm watching
the documentary and the. Oh, did you see? Wait, which is the new one?
It's a. I forgot the title.
Okay.
But it's, her life after prison. And
right.
There's been a few of those already. This is the newest one. I think it's Lifetime.
Why are you obsessed with it?
I don't know what it is.
I saw one of those shows, the Hulu one, and I thought it was crazy cool. I mean, that's fucked up. That happened. I mean, I stopped. I didn't care anymore.
Yeah. Me and Katie watch it religiously. I think Katie doesn't like her. I love it.
I think anyone raised like that probably cannot be liked in real life, and I feel sorry for that person. But that's all I can really say.
Oh, about Gypsy?
Yeah, it's hard to be raised like that and be likable.
I like it.
Or be a good person even. I mean, not saying she is or isn't. Believe what you want, but it's hard to get everything right, is my point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she had a Ask Me Anything
an AMA on Reddit?
It wasn't on Reddit. It was on Instagram. And she was going to be answering him on YouTube. Wow. So I sent her a message and said, do you want to be a guest on the show? So we'll see.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so that's something I'm into right now.
How are we going to spin that to fit our podcast?
Don't know.
Okay.
I just did it.
Well, we'll start working on that.
Right, in case she says yes.
Right. Start working on the skeleton key to provide an all-answer, factoid here.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
So, but that's about it, man.
Do I have to be at that interview? Like, can I skip it?
No, you would have to be there.
Damn it. All right. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll be like, I saw you being played by that one actor. That's what I'll say.
Oh, yes, the movie. I can't remember the actress's name. But
me either.
Yeah, I'm all wrapped up into that. See, that's the things you do when you get, my age. Right. Stuff like that excites you.
Well, it's the sad truth, folks, is that the real reason we keep having these long times of radio silence with you all has nothing to do with our lives necessarily, or things being hectic, the world being on fire, and acrimonious in opinions. It's the fact that Jay's getting too old and he's forgetful, and we must understand. No. He's just old and forgetful. His brain is shriveled and gray now.
Wow,
and it has gray hairs on the inside. And we must be especially attuned to that, and we must understand him. We must be understandable, because he's just too old. So when he remembers that there is a show called the SOS Chicago.
That's literally not what it's called.
Whatever the fuck it's called. The Supernatural Growing Studies, whatever the fuck. Chicago Ghost. Chicago Ghost. When he remembers that this show exists, and he remembers he knows a guy named Oscar, he'll let me know. I'm like, oh man, we gotta do a show. And isn't it due next week? I'm like, yeah, like 6 months ago. Sure.
I'll let you know on the day you have something you really want to do.
Right. Like Watch the Bear.
That's right. Yeah. Oh man, that's good. Oh, going on a cruise next month in July. Gonna take the family on a cruise. That's exciting. I don't know, I'm trying to think of stuff.
That's still a bucket list for me.
Oh, yeah.
Going on one.
Yeah.
Maybe breaking into one. Maybe that shaves off 2 bucket list items.
We went on one last August, and we're going to go on one July and
honestly,
August
the one that appeals to me the most is like the Alaskan one.
One day I'll do it.
For me. Maybe
not until I'm like 80, but yeah.
When the cold is already catched, or is already in your bones, might as well say fuck it.
That's right. By that time, my heart would have turned to ice anyway.
Right.
Bitter and cold.
You can't even say get off your lawn, like too much work.
Exactly. I just point with a gnarled, knuckled finger.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, we should probably segue into a break so we can then get started with this recap show.
Some updates.
Of sorts.
Updates on the Long Island serial killer.
It's almost like a previously unreal world.
Yeah. No young listener knows what the hell that just was.
I meant the real world. I just thought of that. I didn't mean
I thought you meant MTV.
On the real world. No, I know there's an MTV show called Real World. That's not what I meant, but that's funny, I guess.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Oscar, before we get into it, our boy Rex Heuermann, it's looking more and more like
a piece of shit.
Fucked.
Yeah, he is so fucked. I read the articles. Yeah.
All
right, so let's take a break starting now.
welcome back to the show. Well, haven't said this in a while, but the lights are turned down low. The ceremonial candle is lit.
Lit as fam.
And the drinks are flowing, and they are. Eagle Rare.
Yeah.
Let's start this update show. So as I mentioned before we went to break, it's been 6 months. Since the last time we talked about this case, a lot has happened. But just quickly, for people who don't remember, because it's been so long, back in November and December of 2023, you and I, we published 2 episodes focused on the Long Island serial killer.
Right.
Now, in that first episode, we introduced the listeners to 20 of the Long Island serial killer's victims. That's 18 women, mostly sex workers, who all shared eerily similar characteristics.
And he's talking about physical characteristics, folks.
That's right. And then there were 2 what we referred to as outliers that didn't fit the normal MO of the Long Island serial killer. That was the Asian male that we referred to.
The twink.
The twink, exactly. And that's not to be derogatory.
No, that's what he was called.
That's what he was.
Or they.
What
or
Rex Heuermann was searching for
right.
online was Asian twink. So there was that twink. And then there was the kid, the toddler.
Yes.
Who wound up being Peach's kid.
What connects them to everything is that they were buried amongst these others.
Right. They were all buried by Ocean Parkway and Gilgo Beach. Now, some of the victims' bodies, or parts of their bodies, were buried off, as we just said, Ocean Parkway, near Gilgo Beach on Long Island, New York. While other bodies and body parts were also found in Manorville, Long Island, in Las Vegas, Nevada, and in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Right.
That was our first episode. Now, in our second Long Island serial killer episode, we covered all the potential suspects. And man,
we had some weird wacky ones in there.
And some of them were juicy.
Yeah, like that doctor guy.
Yes, and we're going to talk about him briefly at the end here. Was the Long Island serial killer an undetected predator? Were there multiple predators working together?
Right.
Was it a disgraced cop, the kooky doctor, a rich businessman, or multiple known serial killers? We just couldn't say for sure. So many very interesting people could fit the bill. But at the end of the day, there was an actual suspect, someone apprehended and jailed who authorities believe could be the actual Long Island serial killer. A 60-year-old architect from Massapequa Park on Long Island, New York, of course, named Rex Heuermann. Now, listeners, if you're unfamiliar with all of this, with the Long Island serial killer case, or with Rex, or the victims, or how Rex was caught, or what the police had on Rex to catch him or arrest him, you got to go back to our episodes 152 and 153.
Or why his mom would call him Rex.
Yeah.
Name him that way.
And catch up, because this is an update episode, just to let you guys know what's been going on since Heuermann's arrest.
Yeah.
And also, just so you know, check the show notes. I left some photos for you guys that coincide with some people we're going to be talking about today.
Right.
Okay. Now, the task force that ultimately arrested Rex Heuermann in July of 2023, so just about a year ago, they've been hard at work ever since, building their case.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of updates to cover since we last talked about this, and I can tell you, like I said, it's looking more and more like our guy Rex, the ogre, as he's been called, is the Long Island serial killer.
He's a big fucker.
He really is. Big, ugly son of a bitch. It's still unknown, or more like it's not being talked about, as to whether or not Rex worked alone or had accomplices. All we know right now is that very strong evidence continues to mount against Rex, essentially pointing a big, screaming, pink neon finger right at him as being the Long Island serial killer.
Right.
So, last we reported, Rex was in jail. He was denied bail.
Yeah.
And he was charged with murdering 3 of the Gilgo 4 women. To recap, he got first-degree murder for the deaths of Melissa Bartholomew on or around July 10th, 2009, Megan Waterman on or around June 6, 2010, and Amber Costello on or around September 2nd, 2010. And he was also charged with murder in the second degree for the deaths of Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. Mm-hmm. Now, at that time, Rex had not been charged with killing Maureen Brainerd Barnes, the fourth Gilgo victim. But we said in our shows that Rex was the prime suspect in Maureen's murder and that he would be charged soon because there was, quote, substantial evidence of Heuermann's involvement in her death, including the MO fitting that of the other three women for which he was charged. Now, Maureen, in case you don't know, Maureen Brainerd Barnes is believed to be the Long Island serial killer's first victim, and she was only 25 years old when she disappeared in New York City on July 9th, 2007. Her body would later be found wrapped in burlap at Gilgo Beach on December 11th, 2010. She had been bound by 3 belts, and one of those belts had that very distinct WH or HM, remember? Mm-hmm. Who it could be Rex's grandfather. And the tattoo Maureen had on her right arm of her daughter's name, Nicolette, had been horribly mutilated by a sharp object in a crude attempt to kind of
mask it off.
Conceal her identity. Right. This is going to be important, that trying to scrub off that tattoo. This is going to become important here in a bit. That was Maureen Brainerd Barnes, just to catch you up. Now, when the Suffolk County Crime Lab examined Maureen's body, they found a Caucasian female hair in the belt buckle of one of those belts that bound her. And it wasn't Maureen's hair. We now know that after rigorous DNA testing of that hair, when compared to DNA samples taken from bottles found in the trash outside Rex Heuermann's Massapequa Park home, the DNA profile generated from the female hair found on Maureen is 7.9 trillion times more likely to have come from a person genetically identical to Asa Ellerup, Rex Heuermann's wife, than anyone else in North America.
There you go.
So the hair found on Maureen Brainerd Barnes belonged to Rex's wife, Asa. Further, in regards to Amber Lynn Costello, in the last episodes we told you about hairs found on her body that also weren't hers. Now, if you remember, Amber, she was the 27-year-old sex worker from West Babylon, Long Island, that disappeared from her home on September 2nd, 2010. She's the one that ran that scam with her roommate, where they basically robbed the men that turned up to Amber's home.
Yes, that's right. I remember now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dave Schaller was the guy who was in this scam with her. Now, it turns out the hairs found on Costello matched with 4.654 times 10 to the 63rd power. And I really don't even think there's a name for that big of a number. It matched right to Victoria Heuermann, Rex's 27-year-old daughter.
What?
Now, in what seems like something straight out of a movie, on May 25th, 2023, undercover agents from the Long Island Serial Killer Task Force witnessed Victoria Heuermann, Rex's daughter, throw away a Monster Java energy drink can as she was riding a Long Island Railroad train from Penn Station back to the family home in Massapequa Park. The agents grabbed that can from the trash, and that's how they were able to get Victoria's DNA.
Right.
And link it to the hair found on Amber Costello. Now, if you remember, this is kind of the same thing with Rex, right? Agents got his DNA from a discarded pizza box.
I remember that, yeah.
Rex threw away in the garbage can outside of his Manhattan office. Now, we covered this in the last episodes, but 2 female hairs and a male hair were found on another Gilgo victim, Megan Waterman. And those 3 hairs, once again, matched with Rex and his wife, again with just astronomical accuracy.
Right.
So we could finally say that Rex Heuermann now stands accused of murdering all 4 of the Gilgo 4 women, and there's DNA evidence to prove it.
Yep. Yeah, he sounds completely and utterly fucked.
Yeah. Oh, just wait.
In a good way.
In a good way, exactly. Mm-hmm. And this isn't where the updates end.
Right.
It gets even crazier. So, with these hairs turning up on victims that belonged to Asa, the wife, Victoria, the daughter, it's starting to look like the victims were inside, maybe even killed, in Rex Heuermann's Massapequa Park home. And that's how his wife and daughter's hair was transferred onto the victims.
Like they were on the floor maybe, and that's how it got on her or whatever.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not necessarily means that they were watching or they participated in it.
Matter of fact, it's being proven through credit card statements and verified travel history that Asa and Victoria were out of town each and every time one of the Gilgo Four went missing, leaving Rex all alone to do whatever he wants inside the home.
Well, that makes a lot more sense because he would want privacy to do it.
Without the fear of being caught.
Waits for them to leave.
Yes.
Funny enough, unrelated but a little related, my family, my parents, and I think someone else are going to Mexico tomorrow, and the house will be all alone. Mm-hmm. I'm going to raid that fridge. You know what I'm saying? I wait for this time. I wait for the summer.
That's so funny.
I'm going to raid that fridge. I don't have to buy groceries this week. It's great. Yeah.
That's essentially what he was doing here, but with human life. Mm-hmm. They're suspecting.
Right.
Now, as far as killing and killing these women into the home, there's a few more points I'd like to talk about that solidify this theory that he killed in his home, but I'll get to those shortly. So just put a pin in that.
All right. Pin.
Now, this is huge, and this came out very recently. Rex is now being charged with 2 more murders.
Really?
Bringing the total to 6. And I personally think, unfortunately, it's 6 victims and counting. Now, one of the latest victims attributed to Rex is someone we talked about in our Long Island serial killer victims episode, a woman named Jessica Taylor. Do you remember that name?
I remember the name. I don't remember the specifics.
Okay. Well, Rex is being accused of killing Jessica sometime between July 21st and 26th, 2003. Now, if you remember, Jessica Taylor, she was the 20-year-old sex worker from Washington, D.C., who conducted her business in Midtown Manhattan, conveniently where Rex's office was, mind you. And she disappeared from New York on July 21st, 2003.
Okay.
And sadly, on July 26, 2003, her naked torso was found partially decomposed and resting on top of a surgical drape in the Pine Barrens of Manorville, New York. She had been decapitated, and her arms were severed below the elbows. She had a tattoo that read Remy's Angel, and it, too, was horrifically gouged up with a sharp instrument, just like Maureen Brainerd Barnes' tattoo. It was also discovered, this is recently, it came out that her nipples displayed irregular disruption.
Okay.
God knows what that means. That's
a weird way to phrase it.
As far as it went.
Yeah, it's a weird way.
Now, Jessica's head, forearms, and hands were missing for 8 years until they were found in April 2011, buried just east of Gilgo Beach, less than a mile from where the Gilgo 4 remains were found.
Wow.
Now, it's since been proven that Rex Heuermann was in fact present in Midtown Manhattan on July 21st, 2003, the very same date Jessica Taylor disappeared. Interesting, but circumstantial. How about this? After Jessica's body was found in Manorville, police started canvassing the area looking for clues.
Right.
As a result, they found a witness who had, on July 25th, 2003, at approximately 10:30 p.m., they observed a dark-colored Chevy pickup truck backed into the same area where Jessica's body would be found just a day later. And the witness's vehicle description matched the description of Rex's dark green Chevy Avalanche we mentioned in the last episodes. Rex would have been in possession of the Avalanche at the time of Jessica's murder and at the time of the witness's account, as Rex purchased that Avalanche in March 2002, so kind of like a year before.
Okay.
There's more, because this is still kind of circumstantial stuff.
Well, an eyewitness is not circumstantial, but also, like, it's hard to connect them.
Could be anybody's
There's no
truck,
fact, I guess, right?
Yeah. A forensic analysis of Rex's digital devices also revealed that on or about July 28, 2003, Rex accessed a Newsday article called Cops Seek Help in IDing Manorville Body regarding the discovery
Right, he's
of
looking up, see where they're at.
what they know, right. Talking about the discovery of her remains. It was discovered that then Rex then deleted that search from his browsing history. Then, on or about July 29, 2003, Rex did an internet search for a new Chevy Avalanche, even though his Avalanche was just over a year old. It was discovered that Rex tried to delete that search from his history, too.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this internet activity occurred just days after Jessica's torso was discovered, and just days after witnesses observed a vehicle matching the description of Rex's leaving that scene where the body or torso was found. All still interesting, still circumstantial.
But it does reinforce, I remember in the second episode, basically the last episode where we talked about the suspects, it does reinforce Rex Heuermann's stupidity with technology.
Very much so.
You know, because you talked about the phone and he just doesn't get it. And I love how...
He thought he was so slick.
Right. And like this reinforces that.
Yeah. Dumbass. Dumbass. Now, during examination, let's see, the nail in the coffin linking Rex to Jessica Taylor was once again hair. During examination, a male head hair was found on the surgical drape on which Jessica's torso was found, and DNA analysis excluded 99.96 of the American population from being the owner of that hair, but Rex Heuermann could not be excluded.
There you go.
In other words, his hair is 1.837 times 10 to the 603rd power. I love those numbers.
Right. That's how they have to do it.
Times more likely to have come from a person genetically identical to Rex Heuermann than from an unrelated individual. It's Rex's fucking hair.
Right.
And finally, just like the Gilgo 4 women, with Jessica Taylor, when she went missing, conveniently, Rex's family was verifiably on vacation in Vermont, and Rex did not join them. Again, he's got all this time that he needs to execute his fucked up plan on Jessica. Abduct her, bring her back to his house, kill her, dismember her, wrap her up in the surgical drape, transport her to Manorville, and his family is none the wiser.
I wonder what comes first, his victim that he picks or his need? How does that vacation work? Does he wait for the wife to, or does he suggest it when he
hey,
wants?
Honey, it's been
I found
2
this
months.
victim. You want to go to Vermont this weekend?
Right.
Or hey, I want to go to Vermont next week. Great, I can look up people now.
That's a great.
I wonder what comes first.
Good question.
Right?
We don't know yet.
Obviously not yet.
We don't.
Maybe ever, but
I can just see those coming. Honey, we just left a week ago.
Right.
Yeah, it's time.
I have a warrant out for my arrest in Vermont for that speeding ticket, honey. You go. I'll stay.
So fucked up, man.
Right.
Very methodical.
Yeah.
Now, so that's 5. Now, the 6th person Rex is now charged with murdering is another sex worker, of course.
Right.
And she's someone we didn't discuss in our previous episodes.
What?
She kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people, myself included. Her name is Sandra Costilla, a 28-year-old native of Trinidad and Tobago, living in Queens, New York. Now, Sandra's body was discovered by some hunters in a wooded area of Southampton in Suffolk County, Long Island, in November 1993. 93, which means
wow.
if, in fact, Rex did kill Sandra, which he likely did, as you'll see here in a second, that means he's been brutally murdering women undetected for over 3 fucking decades.
Huh.
Now...
That's a can of worms.
It's so... Yeah. Now, when Sandra was found, she was found lying on her back with her arms outstretched over her head, and her uncovered legs were spread apart. Her shirt had been pulled up over her torso and head, exposing her breasts, and she had numerous sharp force injuries to her face, torso, breasts, left thigh, and vaginal area. This was a nasty kill.
Yeah.
Now, originally, investigators suspected the serial killer, John Bittrolff, in Sandra Costilla's death, but he was never charged, and DNA eventually cleared Bittrolff of Sandra's murder. And listeners, if you want to know more about the serial killer John Bittrolff, check out our second Long Island serial killer episode where we talked about all the suspects. Now, since Bittrolff was never charged, that means Sandra Costilla's murder went unsolved for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Until now. Turns out, again, 3 hairs were found on Sandra's remains. A female hair was found on her right arm, and a female and male hair were found on like a shirt or like an undershirt that she had been wearing.
Okay.
Turns out the male hair, through DNA testing, excludes 99.96
right.
of the North American population, including John Bittrolf, but does not exclude Rex Heuermann. Once again, it's fucking Heuermann.
How old would he have been in 93? I'm just curious.
Oh,
I know he's in his
60,
50s.
He's
right?
60 now.
Oh, he's 60, okay.
Yeah, so
Got it.
do the mental math. I can't do it at
In
this
his
time
30s?
after this whiskey. Yeah, probably.
Early 30s.
Good time for serial killers. That's prime age for serial killers.
Yeah, it is. I was just thinking that. That's why I asked.
Now, so we know that one of those hairs belonged to Rex Heuermann.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the female hair found on Sandra Castilla is interesting. It's not Asa's, the wife, and it's not the daughter Victoria's hair.
But she wasn't born yet.
Right. The hair actually belongs to a woman that lived with Rex and his mother in the Massapequa Park home between 1991 and September 1993. Sometime in 91, she left in September 93.
Okay.
Now, right now, police are the only ones that know this woman's identity. And they are in contact with her, and she voluntarily submitted a DNA sample. And like I said, it's a match to the hair found on Sandra's shirt, providing further support that Rex Heuermann mutilated, murdered, and transported the body of Sandra Castilla to Southampton.
Well, hold on. Does anybody question how, if the body was found the way it was found in the forest, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yes. It seemed like a wooded
It seems
area.
to me that she got killed there, not placed there. Placing the body there. I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe he's trying to humiliate them, and you place them in such a lewd way.
Them,
it could be, but it seems to me that maybe it's a bit of both. But it seems like her end or her life ended in the forest, not necessarily at his house.
It could be.
Right.
But give me a second. It's important to note that for reasons unknown, this unidentified woman moved out of Rex's home in September 93, just 2 months prior to Sandra's murder in November. And by that time, Rex's mother had also been gone. She was also moved out of the house. So just like with the other 5 women he's accused of, at the time of Sandra's murder, he was home alone with unfettered time to execute his plan to do whatever the fuck kind of sick shit he wanted to Sandra Castilla without getting caught by his family.
Okay. That's good to know.
So it fits the MO of family being gone, house is empty. Investigators, I guess, figure it stands to reason.
I guess I'm a little surprised. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm surprised that his MO, for the most part, was so established from way back then. You know, because we see it like clockwork with his family in New York, or when he's working as an architect in Midtown, downtown, whatever. Midtown, sorry. Yeah. That it was still a thing in '93. You know what I mean? That's like he waited for the opportunity, and then used that opportunity every time after that to always kill it when the house is empty.
Yeah, I don't know.
There must be an emotional connection with that house then.
Well, it's his childhood home. We talked about that.
Well, we talked about that. Yeah, we did.
I mean, this is where he grew up. This is his lair.
The belt, right?
The belt belonged to his grandfather.
He never changed anything in there. It was basically like a hoarder's thing, correct. Right? We talked about that. Yeah. I remember that. I wonder if it's... I'm saying it, I wonder if it's deeper than that. Maybe, we talked about also... they're all, sex workers, prostitutes. So we talked about the difference between out-call and in-call and how you can pick your service depending on your needs, right? And maybe they were all in-call.
Or he picked them up and brought them back.
That could be a thing too. Yeah, you're right. It could be that.
You're right, in-call. You're right.
Seems to be like, because if his focus on his house when it's empty, seems to be like an in-call situation. I wonder if that's like a thing, or part of it too. How much of it is based on his, like what emotionality he's attributing to the house that leads him to kill there. I wonder what that is. I don't know.
Safety, comfort.
Maybe.
I can't be caught here.
Right.
I can control it.
Maybe, yeah, you're right.
But, I mean, with this murder of Sandra Castilla, all investigators are saying right now is that he had that time to kill, rape, murder, kill, dismember, whatever. Didn't dismember this one. And then transport.
Yeah.
For there's something there that leads them to believe he transported them. And maybe we just don't know what that is yet.
Right.
Crazy. So 6. Total of 6. And I believe counting. And we have more developments. Mm-hmm. Remember all those searches we talked about being done on Rex's house and his storage units.
Yes.
So, for example, he had that storage unit in Amityville, which is very close to the Amityville house.
To the Amityville house, yeah.
We talked about some of the things police found, but since then, we now know that cops seized over 350 electronic devices. Cell phones, computers, laptops, hard drives, USB drives, shit like that.
Okay.
And oh man, the treasure trove of evidence being pulled from some of those devices. Just unbelievable. Now, obviously, it's going to take... it could take years for them to go through each and every device.
You have to log it, describe it, analyze. You have to do
and they'll do it.
Right.
They have to.
Well, yeah,
right?
I hope so.
I hope
they do it, yes.
But what they've found and are talking about so far is huge. First of all, investigators were able to find a significant collection of Rex's violent bondage and torture pornography, dating back to 1994. We're talking about things like breast mutilation, the sexualization of decapitated women, vaginal torture, bondage, whipping, sex substitution. I had to look it up. That's the penetration with an object. So we could again confirm that Rex got off on some sick and twisted, vile shit.
Yeah.
Remember the disgusting Google searches we talked about last time? How it involved kiddie porn and shit? Investigators also found a hard drive in Rex's basement that contained a Word document titled HK 2002-04. We don't know what HK stands for, but they're assuming it spans 2 years, 2002 to 2004.
Okay.
Here's exactly what you were saying, how Rex thinks he's fucking slick with technology, but he's really an asshole. The document was found in unallocated space on the hard drive, which means Rex tried to delete the document.
Yeah.
Right? But unless the space that the deleted document once occupied is overwritten with a new file, which it hadn't been, the deleted document can still be recovered by something called computer forensic extraction, also known as file carving. And that's exactly what police did.
Wow.
It's important to note that this document was created locally, and it was edited several times over the years. This is important because this tells us that the HK 2002-04 document wasn't just something Rex accidentally downloaded from the internet and then deleted it. No, this is a document Rex created and then edited over time.
Yeah, okay? Worked on it.
He's the owner.
Right.
Now, everyone's making a huge deal about this document because it seems to be a planning document used by Rex to methodically blueprint and plan out his kills.
Oh, okay, yes.
Did you read about this? Or
yes, I actually read it.
Okay. Now, this is involved, but fuck is it telling? So I'm going to get through this. This HK planning document begins with a 4-category section with underlined headings: problems, supplies, DS, and TRG. Now, based on Gilgo Homicide Task Force training and experience, the cops' training and experience, they believe problems section is a guide on issues to avoid apprehension.
Right.
Supplies section is a reference to what supplies are needed to carry out the murders, to avoid apprehension, and to avoid leaving behind any sort of DNA evidence.
Right.
The DS heading appears to be an acronym for dump site, which is corroborated by the discoveries of the Gilgo 4, Valerie Mack, Jessica Taylor, and Sandra Castilla at separate dump sites.
Yeah.
That being Manorville, Ocean Parkway, Gilgo Beach, and Southampton. And finally, police believe that TRG stands for targets. Now, some of the things Rex listed under these headings are as follows. Under problems, Rex listed things like DNA, tire marks, bloodstains, fingerprints, hair and fiber, and police stops being pulled over.
Right.
Under the supplies column, Rex listed stuff like booties, cover your shoes, lye, acid, police scanner, rope, cord, saw/cutting tools, hair nets, photo film, foam drain cleaner, body wash and wipes, and medical gloves. Isn't it chilling how organized this asshole was?
Photo film is very specific, considering that he's so stupid with technology, but he's smart enough to know if he wants to take pictures, photo film.
But that also, correct, and it also tells us there might be a treasure trove
Oh, yes.
of photo evidence.
Right, it's almost got to be. His own stash, his own little porn collection there.
Yeah.
Trophy.
And maybe the police have it already, we just don't know yet.
Right, right. Cataloging it takes forever.
Now, under the DS, or dump site column, Rex typed DS1, Mill Road, and DS2 with a bunch of question marks after it, likely referring to the location where Jessica Taylor and Valerie Mack's, partially talked about Valerie Mack last episodes, where their remains were found near Mill Road in Manorville. That's dump site 1,
right,
as well as the second dump site where more of the women's remains were found off Ocean Parkway, or dump site 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, TRG, or the target column, Rex typed in Megan with a question mark, likely referring to Megan Waterman, one of the Gilgo 4. And he also typed small is good, which is very significant because all of Rex's victims were petite females.
Yes.
Small is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, so that's the first section. The planning document then breaks down into 3 additional headings. Those are pre-prep, prep, and post-event. This is like a fucking how an architect would think.
Yeah, I guess so.
Analytical,
right,
columnized information. You know what I mean?
Yes,
okay.
It does feel that way.
So creepy. So the pre-prep column, seems to be Rex's idea for planning a murder. He wrote things like vehicle inspection, engage T1 or target 1, recon DS1 or dump site 1, weather report, and recon pick zone for vidcams. This is what he wrote.
Right.
Recon pick zone for vidcams. He's literally laying out what he needs to do to successfully abduct and murder someone. Inspect his vehicle to make sure it's in working order, no surprises. Make sure the weather won't ruin his plans.
Right.
Check the abduction area and the dump sites for video cameras, and then, boom, engage the target.
Yeah.
Under the prep column, Rex wrote set up stage, holding area, build table, crossbar, and hardpoint. It seems like here he's reminding himself that before the murder he must set up the stage and holding area, likely where he's going to hold his victims, torture and murder his victims. And both could, again, possibly be inside his house. As for the reference to building a table, crossbar, and hardpoint for the victim, I think all these things have to do with extreme BDSM. I had to look it up, like what a hardpoint was. I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
And apparently it's this BDSM thing, and it's something that's mounted overhead from which a dominant partner would support their submissive, while performing suspension bondage.
Oh, okay.
It's supposedly super kinky stuff, and in fact, fun fact, some of the most serious publicly reported bondage injuries have occurred when a hardpoint fails during a suspension session. Even though it's fairly rare that these failures happen, when it does, it's supposed to be sudden and catastrophic.
Yeah.
When these things fail. So that's what investigators believe Rex was doing, is reminding himself, hey, get that shit hung, set up the kill zone, kill site, and build your BDSM things, tables, crossbars, shit like that. Now finally, under the post-event column, Rex wrote destroy file, change tires, burn gloves, dispose of pics, and have story set. In other words, what he must do after a murder to not get caught. Basically, destroy all evidence and have an alibi and a story at the ready just in case.
Right.
And then there's a section called body prep, which is very telling, where Rex wrote, wash body inside and all cavities, remove trace evidence, fingerprints, and hair, remove tattoos, hello,
right,
remove head and hands, hello,
right,
and package for transport. And of course, Jessica Taylor, Maureen Brainerd Barnes had their tattoos horribly disfigured. Jessica Taylor's head and arms were removed. Jessica's torso was found on top of a surgical drape, and all 4 of the Gilgo 4 victims were wrapped in burlap. And I bet Rex used the surgical tape and burlap to package and transport his victims, just like he's saying in this planning document. Now, the document contained a section called Dispose of the Following, under which Rex listed things like tools and devices, drop cloths, wipes and towels, props, toys and wood items, tools and devices, things like that. Personal clothes and items, destroy book and computer files. Again, just what to do to not be caught.
Almost like keeping a checklist going.
Yeah. Then there was a things to remember section. This shit's crazy. Listen to this. Quote, sound travels. Control the amount of air in and out to control the noise. Quote, get sleep before hunt. Too tired creates problems. Quote, hit harder. Too many hits to take down. Consider hit to face or neck next time for takedown. And you notice how he said next time.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. This animal was never going to stop. Quote, use push pins to hang drop cloths from ceiling, not tape. Quote, use heavy rope for neck. Light rope broke under stress from being tightened. Now this last one's chilling. It just chills you to the bone. Quote, more sleep and noise control equals more playtime.
Yeah.
Fucking playtime. Rex absolutely fucking loves this shit. I think this document is going to be a major factor in putting him away forever. I mean, it's all there.
It's hella damning. Obviously, the growing question now is seeing his connection to the 1993 murder. How much has he murdered from then till the ones we know of in 2003? 10 years of time we don't know.
And where? Don't forget we got stuff in Nevada.
Because he had to grow into maybe he at some point thought like, man, I should probably just figure them, cut them up in pieces. Like it was in 1993 victim. How much longer did he think of that? Did he kill elsewhere in different states to practice, like get the rhythm going? Did he, or on the off chance from the 1993 and then he had like a gap of time in 10 years, like before he really, really, really felt like he wanted to do it again. I mean, it could be a gap time. I don't think so. But
a lot of the serial killers, they have those cooling off periods.
Right.
But did he cool off?
Maybe the first time, like, maybe he made him whatever, like, where he just do it again. Like, I probably can only do that once. And then 10 years later, I probably could do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fucked up, man.
And then it becomes like such a regular occurrence that you make a document about it and a checklist.
And to say next time do this, it never was going to stop.
No.
Now,
this was his vacation. This was like how
his hobby, his
stress relieving fucking thing. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being that fucked up in the head, man.
I cannot, because I want to do Legos when I'm relaxing. I relax.
Exactly.
I don't want to murder it.
So again, getting back to the home, everyone's dying to know: was Rex murdering these women in his home when his family was out of town? Was that Massapequa Park home his killing ground, his holding area and stage? To quote from the HK document, right? Set up, stage and holding area. We just said in his planning document, use push pins to hang drop cloths, not tape. Remember that?
Yeah.
As it turns out, investigators did find a section of Rex's home that had tape marks on walls and the ceiling. Like this one particular section of his home, I thought it was his basement. It'd been cordoned off for some reason. And upon closer inspection, they found tiny holes, like from push pins, in the ceiling. Just like his document said.
Yeah, he's clearly clean there, yeah.
Doesn't it remind you of Dexter? Doesn't this shit remind you of Dexter?
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, when we were going through, especially when we talked about all of the suspects, and the many ideas and theories of multiple serial killers being involved, it felt like a Dexter series.
Yeah, I think
like
you said it in that episode, too.
Oh, did I? I don't remember. It felt like a Dexter season 5 or something.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. And also remember in that planning document supplies section, Rex listed tarps and drop cloths. The theory is he was hanging these tarps and drop cloths using tape and push pins in his, and let's just call it his kill room, to help contain splashing blood and other bodily fluids, and to help stop the spread of DNA. He'd likely then use those same materials to pack the bodies for transport and disposal. Right. I mean, this document is the exact reason why Heuermann went undetected for 30 years. He was meticulous as shit. Just like an architect would be, right? And he had zero intentions of stopping.
And just like always with a lot of these killers, especially the ones that do it a long time and grow comfortable in it, they grow too comfortable in it. You think of that the very first victim that led to the Gilgo 4, running away, the description of him, the truck. You get a lot of the things that we know for sure now.
Yeah.
From that first lady that got away or ran away or tried to run away.
I'm going to talk about it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. And then obviously his failure to understand fucking technology. Anyway.
Before we close, I do want to give a quick update on Shannon Gilbert.
Okay.
The one that you're just talking about. She's kind of getting forgotten now that Rex Heuermann is in custody. And sadly, now that Mary Gilbert, Shannon's mother, her outspoken advocate, is dead, murdered by her own daughter.
Yeah,
remember?
I remember.
Listeners, go back and listen. Remember, Shannon Gilbert, she's the unsung hero, right, in this whole fucked up story. Mm-hmm. If police weren't out searching for Shannon, they wouldn't have literally stumbled across the Gilgo 4,
right,
which led to more bodies and ultimately to Rex, right? Now, one of the biggest questions, something everyone is trying to figure out, is whether or not Shannon Gilbert and Rex Heuermann crossed paths. Like, could Rex have murdered Shannon? I mean, the way Rex indulged in sex workers, he and Shannon coming into contact, isn't that far-stretched of an idea, right?
Right.
Now, if you remember, we do have that one eyewitness, the taxi driver, who signed a sworn affidavit stating that she saw a terrified Shannon Gilbert and Heuermann at the Sayville Motor Lodge in the South Shore of Long Island back in 2009. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Now, more recently, John Ray, the attorney representing Shannon Gilbert's estate, talked about Shannon's diary, which police have. We weren't privy to this information back when we recorded our first 2 episodes. This is new. Now, overall, unfortunately, there isn't much in the diary. No smoking gun linking Shannon to Rex or Shannon to any of the suspects we talked about in the previous episodes. But there is one thing John Ray mentioned that's pretty interesting, and it's only 2 words. On one of the diary pages, Shannon had written the name Chris and then crossed it out. And next to Chris was the word Massapequa. Okay. Of all the towns in Long Island, she wrote Massapequa, where Rex lived and possibly killed. Rex's stepson is named Christopher, or Chris. And we know that Rex loved to use ordinary names as aliases when he communicated with sex workers and created his fictitious emails. Names like John Springfield and Thomas Hawk. Now, this is all circumstantial, but man, is this the proof in Shannon's own handwriting that she and Rex knew each other? Could he been there that night? Was that who she was running from?
It's definitely not a smoking gun, of course, but
interesting.
It's definitely much closer now.
Yeah. And John Ray is because Mary Gilbert, the mother, Shannon's mother, was, like I said, this advocate, outspoken, brash, not afraid to piss people off. But now that she's gone and there's someone in custody, Shannon's name is just kind of getting forgotten.
Yeah, that's it.
So John Ray is really trying to put the pressure to reopen her case, re-examine her case, take a look at the facts and everything again. And now we have this Chris Massapequa.
Maybe they can find, I don't know, her DNA in his place or something.
Yeah. And then just today, this morning, I found 3 interviews that were done with Joe Brewer. Joe Brewer is the man who Shannon went to visit the night she disappeared.
Yes.
For her sex work, right?
Right.
And everyone's like, Joe Brewer's involved. Or the driver, Michael Pack, right? Michael Pack brought her to Joe Brewer's house. She ran out of Joe Brewer's house. So there's 3, and I'll leave the links to these interviews. They're about 20 minutes each. And, just to hear Joe Brewer's voice, to hear him tell his side of the story about what happened that night, incredibly interesting.
Really?
Of course, he pleads his innocence.
Right, of course.
And in fact, Joe Brewer called the police himself once he found out Shannon was missing. Joe Brewer took a lie detector test. Joe Brewer has answered all the police's questions. Mm-hmm. But you know who he says didn't do all those things? The doctor. Peter Hackett. The kooky doctor.
Yeah, the kooky, the weirdo.
Very weird.
Very weird.
So just a couple, and again, I'll leave the links to these interviews. Just a couple points. Joe Brewer said that the morning everyone discovered Shannon was gone, he just happened to bump into Peter Hackett at the front gate of the Oak Beach Association where all these people lived. Mm-hmm. And he said Peter Hackett, the doctor, was the only one who wanted meticulous information about timeline. No one else mentioned it. No one else brought it up. He was the one that wanted a meticulous timeline of everything Joe Brewer did that day with Shannon. No one else. And then when Joe Brewer brought it up to the police that he gave Peter Hackett this information, Dr. Hackett told the police that never happened. And Joe Brewer said, of course it fucking happened. But he denied it. But the doctor denied it. Brewer also said that the doctor was in charge of the video surveillance system at that front gate.
What?
The only night that video was missing was the night Shannon disappeared.
What?
And no one answered for it. He
did another lie too to somebody else.
Oh yeah, Shannon's mother.
That's what it was. Okay.
Oh, I run a wayward home for girls.
That's right. That's what it was.
I never said that. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Peter Hackett had said to one of his Oak Beach neighbors that Shannon was at my house and I gave her a sedative to calm her down.
That's right.
And then he denied that too. These are all from Joe Brewer's mouth.
Right.
So without coming out and saying it in these interviews, he's saying people need to really look at Hackett. But he's not accusing him. He's accusing him without accusing him, you know?
Right. Well, the camera thing is the real damning part that makes me want to really look into it. Otherwise, It felt more akin to what the police said originally. Like, he's just a fucking attention getter. Like,
he's just a kook.
He's just a kook. He just wants to talk to the police about shit, and he's an asshole. And
just inject himself into everything.
Right. He's nothing. Like, they were just trying to ignore him.
There's more. There's more there.
Yeah.
Because,
the camera thing for sure.
Brewer said, he's like, I'm not saying he killed him, but he helped cover it up. And why? Why is he helping cover it up? For who? Why? Mm-hmm. Brewer, he wants to find out. I'm on Brewer's I'm on Brewer's side after listening to those interviews.
Those interviews, yeah.
Listeners, check it out. I'll make sure and put those links in the show notes. And that's really all I have. I mean, it's a lot for updates on the Long Island serial killer case. Personally, I think it's literally impossible for it to turn out that Rex is not the killer. There's just so much damning evidence pointing straight to him, and it keeps mounting, and unfortunately, I think his victim list is going to continue to grow. But we're going to have to wait and see what other evidence comes out, like from all those
his only way out, and not by out, I mean out in the street. I'm saying out of, let's say, an execution or into some kind of halfway decent redemption arc. He might have to resort to telling the police about everyone that he's killed. Or
they're going to find the evidence.
I mean, I can't imagine that in all that time there would be evidence on every one of his victims. You know what I'm saying? We just don't know that. I think it's much better if he would to confess.
I don't know, this guy... I
don't think so. I don't think he's going to do it.
Fuck, yeah.
Right, and most of them actually never really do. Not all of them anyway. Some of them do, hardcore. Right. But they go all out. Like, you got me, here's a list. But it happens very rarely.
Right.
But that would be the idea. That's the only way and I'm not even saying we'll really even know for sure then, but I feel like that's the one way we might actually know how many and who and where they are.
Yeah, or sometimes they just say, okay, we got 6, that's enough life, you're done. Case closed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the other people aren't discovered. Or
that's terrible, though, because people want to know.
Right, of course.
Families especially.
The loved ones, of course. Yes. But it's not unheard of to say, okay, you've charged with 6.
Of course not.
That's enough to put you to life. The rest, unfortunately.
Right. But also, what if you come across one of his other victims that if you looked into and you start blaming somebody else for that?
Then they put another fucking life sentence on them.
No. I'm saying, but you have to, and you don't know if Rex did it, but you start blaming it on somebody else, and what if you don't even? That's why we got due diligence.
Yeah.
On this.
Oh yeah. There's so much to go through here, and as chunks of information come out, we'll keep you updated because
for sure,
a lot of people are interested in this case. So that's what I got, Oscar.
Awesome. That's all I got too.
Are you going to take us home?
I'm about to. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it.
We went out for Talia's birthday to the Sugar Shack in Sugar Factory.
Oh, she still loves that place?
Yeah, in Rosemont.
It hasn't gone out yet. Huh?
No. And goddamn, is it expensive.
It's so expensive.
And
I had a chocolate martini thing. Delicious, but way too overpriced.
That's what they need to stick to, is the drinks.
Yes.
That I'll give an A+ for.
That's the only one thing that food sucked.
Food, remember Bennigan's and shit like that?
Yeah, I remember Bennigan's.
Applebee's, that's what it is. But you're paying like Shea Paul
But Applebee's is better because it's not priced so high.
Right, yeah. All right, so movies. Movies.
Yeah. I've seen everything.
I wanted to...
Because I canceled my subscription.
Do you mean your Movie Pass? Is that what you mean?
They don't have Movie Pass anymore.
They don't?
Not for a while.
Really?
So there's a great documentary. I think it's called Movie Pass, or the Downfall of Movie Pass. It's on Max.
No shit.
If you're curious what happened.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story.
Well, it sounded like it was a fucking great deal.
It was. I was there day one. Remember that? Were you day one on that too with me?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Because I was all over that shit. No, I meant the AMC one.
So I was trying to think, like, first, let's talk about movies we've seen in the theaters. We saw the new Ghostbusters in the theater.
Oh, yeah?
And we saw Late Night with the Devil.
I love that movie.
Dude, it was so good.
I love that movie. I saw that in theaters also. You saw it in theaters?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I had to see that.
Shudder now.
Yes.
I thought it was you who saw it. My account. So it was somebody else.
We may have watched it again.
Oh, maybe.
But we saw it originally on the movies.
Cool. I love that movie. That movie was dope.
It was so good. The whole Bohemian Grove tie-in.
Dude, didn't I text you? I thought I did. Maybe I just thought I did. But I thought of you immediately. I'm like, dude, I love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool. The guy, Deschamine.
Yeah, the guy who's always in like little movies, but now he's the main star in this one.
Was so good at playing that
like,
late night host.
Late night host
Just
thing.
So good.
Yeah.
And the guy who came in as the debunker, right? Are you good?
Yes, he's the guy from the Matrix sequels.
Really?
He's the guy that Agent Smith takes over in the real world.
Oh,
that's that actor.
Okay,
right?
I see it.
It took me the whole movie to find who is this guy, and then I looked him up after.
Wow. But he was based off of a real guy. Amazing. There wasn't an Amazing Randy who wrote that check in real life.
So yes, I thought of Amazing Randy too because I knew about him as well. Yeah.
I think that's him, right? It was supposed to be.
It looked so familiar. Yes,
the premise of the check.
Yes,
proved to be paranormal, and
right. I also thought of Ghostbusters. Oh, not Ghostbusters. Beetlejuice. They had that little thing about that, like.
Did they?
Offhand, no, it's not like a real plot or anything. One of the characters offhand says, the National Enquirer is offering $100,000 for proof of the afterlife. Something like that. And it reminded me of the same thing, like, because that's Randy's thing and that was in the movie.
I see.
So
so this is called Fire and Blood, 300 years before Game of Thrones.
Yes.
The Targaryen dynasty, the House of the Dragon.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the book is written as if... This is what's interesting. This is why it makes them so different from the other books. It's cool, but also not cool. I'll tell you why. Fire and Blood is written as if it was written as a history book made by a guy that's in the world. So it's written like a history book, a textbook for future generations to read on what happened to the Targaryens.
That is pretty cool.
But because it's a history book, it's very dry. There's no characterization. There's no POV. You know what I'm saying? It's very much like a history book. I mean, just facts is what they know, what they surmise based on accounts and witnesses. It was also written... It pretends to be a book that was written like a generation after the events of the book. So even though the book itself spans 300 years from the first dynasty, from Aegon, the first guy, all the way up until where they stop, like 100 years before Dany in Game of Thrones. Basically, they cover as much of that as possible, but they're also so far away from it, they don't know anybody that's alive from that time. You know what I mean? So, like, a lot of accounts you don't know. The show is treating it like a drama. Like, they're filling in the gaps that the history book doesn't have.
Okay.
Basically.
And when is the show supposed to be? Is it 1,000 years before, like, Daenerys and all them?
No, a couple hundred.
A couple hundred.
The dynasty of the Targaryens is it's less than 1,000. It's like less than 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Katie's getting into House of Dragons.
Oh, really?
She did not like Game of Thrones.
Really?
So now she's getting into House. We're only on part 2, just like what's out.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, what's this? What's that? What's this?" And at the end, I'm like, "You like it, don't you?"
Yeah.
She gave me the look.
Yeah.
So I was trying to tell her this takes place. It's either 1,000 or a few hundred. I couldn't remember. But now in this list, okay, Fire and Blood.
Yeah.
Then we have a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, a Song of Ice and Fire, which I've never heard of.
I don't know that one either.
It's George R.R. Martin and Gary Gianni.
He also wrote that The Tale of Mushroom and something, and there's another one. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff about the world, but not the Song of Ice. He has not continued the books. So.
And what are we waiting for on the books? What's the name of it?
The Winds of Winter.
That's not out yet.
No.
That's the one we're waiting for.
That's the one we've all been waiting for.
That motherfucker.
And then The Dream of Spring is the last one. It's supposed to be 7.
So he's got 2 books?
Yeah.
He's going to die, dude.
Right.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So now I got to get a new book. Good, because I'm almost done with this new Stephen King one I'm reading.
And if you are like, if you have like great memory on the original series, in season 3 of Game of Thrones, maybe 4, maybe even earlier, I don't remember, Joffrey legit spoils what happens in House of the Dragon because it's history to them. He's talking to, not Sansa, the other girl he marries, the hot one from High Garden. High Garden.
High Garden? Or
the High Garden girl. Hightower is House of the Dragon.
But it's not the lineage? That girl was not
High Garden.
Hightower?
No.
Okay.
A Hightower and Hightowers are from Old Town, where Sam Tarly was from.
Okay.
High Garden is an entirely different area.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
But so he ruined.
And he was like in the crypt where all the bones of the old dragons were, including some of the dragons that they're live in the House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's talking about the history, and he talks about Rhaenyra's reign or lack thereof, and what actually happened, like how she dies.
Really?
He talks about it like it was like, I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah.
It's a real. It was an insane ending for her, but like he just blurts it out, and like if you remember that scene, you're gonna get spoiled for House of the Dragon.
Unless they change it somehow.
No, I don't think so. I don't know
how they could, right?
No, they're not
history.
I don't think they're gonna fuck with it. It's also in Fire and Blood, that scene. So
I'm a big fan of Rhaenyra. I think she's awesome.
You're Team Black,
but I also like
Alicent.
Hightower.
Otto,
his daughter.
Alicent.
It is Alicent.
Alicent.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
How long has it been since season 1 and 2? Well, how many years were between?
Between seasons 1 and 2 of this new show? Not at all. Basically, like it's the next day or a week.
No. I'm sorry, but no, between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah. So at the end of season 1, Luke, Rhaenyra's kid, dies. The midair cool dragon scene.
Yeah, which was fantastic.
And the next episode 1 of the new season.
I'm sorry. How much time for us did it take to? It was a couple years, wasn't it?
A couple years, yeah.
My point is,
no more
than
than
a lot.
Oh, no more than 2. You should always go on. There's always great stuff. People make fan edits of like, oh, here's like a recap that's better than HBO will show you.
Oh, really?
You can always watch a quick video someone cut up for you to say, hey, recap in case it's been too long for you. But they do that for every show you can think of.
Oh, okay.
You can always do that real quick before you start the new episode, new season, get you fresh.
I should, because there's a lot that I'm trying to...
Because I did too. I just kind of played it by ear, but I also read the books. No big deal. But yeah.
And then trying to explain it to Katie, it was hard. So maybe I'll look to see.
And there's a lot of characters. And
that's what I was telling her. There's so many characters and relationships and locations and...
Well, not that many locations in this one. It's just mainly what?
We're talking about a lot of places.
I mean, they're talking about a lot of places.
Rivers, the River Run.
They're talking about them, but other than sometimes maybe visiting them, is mainly King's Landing and Dragonstone.
Dragonstone, yeah.
That's where the two warring factors are at, right?
Millicent, what's her name?
Alicent
is in King's Landing.
Right, with the king, right.
Rhaenyra is in
Dragonstone. Which is like 30-minute flight,
like a
not
hop,
even.
skip, and a jump, right?
It's like right there, across the pond, not even.
That's right, because the King Aegon said she's sitting across the lake or whatever, laughing at me or something.
Yeah, they're all super close together, all those places. The Stepstones, too, I think. It's not that far.
So we haven't yet seen, like, the Sept of Baelor, and we haven't seen the Seven Sisters.
I don't think there is a Sept of Baelor...
Yet.
Yet.
Oh.
Like, built. I'm not sure.
That fucking makes
I could be
sense.
wrong on
Because
that.
wasn't Baelor one of the kings?
Yeah, but I think they did it in his honor after the events of this stuff.
Yeah, so... Right. That's what I mean.
Right.
So Baelor hasn't come yet.
Either hasn't come yet or they haven't done it, constructed the thing yet. I'm pretty sure.
That makes sense. In trying to relate...
Dude, chop that fucking kid's head off.
Man, then they showed it.
Dude, actually, it's worse in the book.
Oh, no, don't tell me.
No, it's not a spoiler because it happened already. I can tell you how it happens.
Yeah.
So, like, in the book, she has 2 male heirs and 1 girl, not just 1 girl, 1 boy. And Blood and Cheese, the 2 killers, when they go into the room, they see all the babes, they don't know what to decide. They make her choose, and then they kill the other one in front of her. It's like that.
Well,
it's like a Sophie's Choice, like a real Sophie's Choice.
Isn't that what happened here? They're like, which...
No, but like they fuck with her. Like, they don't do that here. And this one, yeah, they say which one is the boy. They're like, which of the 2 boys you want us to kill?
Damn.
That's a big difference. So, like, yeah.
They were rowdy back then. Holy shit.
In this fictional world, they were really rowdy back then. Yeah.
The guy with the scar, he's...
Are you talking about...
Rhaenyra's brother. The one who killed Luke.
Oh, Aemond.
Aemond. Not Damon. Damon's this...
Damon is the Doctor Who guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you know that? Something Smith?
He's the one banging his niece.
Yeah, no, it's very dirty. Yes, everyone bangs each other. Yes.
So, what was his name?
Aemond.
Aemond. What did he do to Luke again? He just killed him on the dragon, right? He made his dragon.
It wasn't his choice. He's playing it off as if he lost his temper. No, the dragon, went after the dragon because it pissed it off because they're animals and they were just bickering in midair. And I forgot his name, Magar, I think that's his name. That dragon just doesn't. He can't control the dragon. He may be the one that rides the biggest dragon in all the land. Doesn't mean you can control it all. It's the oldest dragon they have.
So then why is he playing off that he...
Because he's not going to be embarrassed and show like he has no power and shit.
That he can't control the dragon. Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's a great one in the history book in the Fire and Blood, they don't know what really happened. They play it off as if it was a vindictive act that Aemon did because they don't know. But obviously we see the show, like, that's cool. That's a better twist on... Because nobody would be up there to know for real what happened.
Anything, yeah.
It was cool.
I just saw on Instagram today, it was a breakdown of all the dragons that are alive right now in the series.
I love Syraxis. Like
Did you see this image?
No, I haven't seen the image.
Oh, like Syraxis is tiny compared to...
Vagar?
It could have been Vagar.
It has to be Vagar. That's the only big one.
Because he was like... I mean, he dwarfed him.
He's basically like a 749. A 747. 747 compared to the Cessna that is the rest of the dragons.
Wow.
That's basically the way you look at it.
It's great. It's great. I'm in. I love it.
But Daemon is the only dragon rider in all of the dragon riders that in existence in Westeros that's had combat experience and has both combat experience with himself and with the dragon. He's the only one that's fought wars on the dragon, knows how to fight in general. And Aemon and nobody else has that kind of like experience. So keep that in mind too.
Okay. Well, yeah, because now Daemon he scooted off again.
Well, yeah, a lot of people think he's going to Harrenhal, but I don't know.
And what's going on at Harrenhal?
Well, Harrenhal, he wants to amass the army there so he can start taking over Lords and right for Rhaenyra.
For or against?
Well, for Rhaenyra, they just had that big fight, right? I'm not going to tell you, but
okay. And then there was one more thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, God bless it. Yeah, you're trying to make those correlations between characters you see now, characters you see.
I love how the Starks act just like the Starks when they go up there in the first episode. Yeah. It was like so Starkian.
Is the wall half its size at this point?
No, it never diminishes.
It's full size?
It's a full size.
They're not still building?
No.
It looked a lot smaller than it does in
the
Game of
wall
Thrones.
is a truly old thing. That's been there for thousands of years. That was there and made basically with the very first Andals, the first men that came in and then they met the children of the forest back when the Night King and those whites, the White Walkers, were out and about. And they built that wall for them a long time ago, so long that it's been way forgotten what it's for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So they got to do a movie or a book.
They have this thing where they want to do obviously a good version of it, a continuation of Game of Thrones, as if like through Jon Snow's point of view. So,
at
the end of season 8, he goes up to the wall, right? He's the general Lord Commander up there,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And and then Bran is leading King's Landing and all that stuff. But they want to do a continuation from that point on because, and this makes more sense because we don't know how George is going to end the books. That the Night King, isn't going to be. It's like a skirmish. Like the whole point is that the Night King and his army coming through, and what we saw in season 8, that was just the beginning. Like, the whole point is that there's many more, and they're massing, and this is just the first skirmish.
Whoa.
So, like, where else can they go from here? What would Jon Snow have to deal with if they do that? I mean, the idea that Arya could destroy it all in one night after all that build-up
By
seems
one
kind of
girl
like
coming down. And...
seems kind of dumb and anticlimactic when you think of all the build-up and all the army they're amassing over there.
Good point, yeah.
So, and there are people that are saying, like, well, maybe that's just the beginning, and there's a lot more going on. And we're just never going to get to see that until they make more
well,
stuff.
didn't they had snow and they canceled that.
Yeah, well, they were going to have snow, and they canceled that. I don't know if they're going to do something else where maybe he's in it, because he still wants to do stuff, as far as I know.
Oh, I'm sure he's starving right there.
That actor, he's fine. He's doing fine. He married Ygritte. He's fine.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ygritte,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm all in. I'll get the new book for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously...
The only fan I know that's like a hardcore fan of the shows.
Is what?
You're the only fan that's a hard. The only fan I have that has a hardcore.
No one else
fan.
is into it, really?
As hardcore as us now.
Huh. Oh yeah, I think this series. There's a lot of people like, oh, I'm not going to watch it. It's not going to be.
Yeah, that's what my brother Luke was like. Go fuck yourselves, guys. It's a
really
good show.
good.
Just want to smack them.
I don't understand. That's what I wanted to bring up real quick. I don't understand where the Black family comes in. They're Targaryens as well. No.
Oh no. I mean, no.
They're not Targaryens. What's their last name?
Black. Strong. Sorry, Strong.
Is it Strong?
So Team Black and Team Green has that's the two different things, right? Black is Team Black is Rhaenyra and her side and her.
Oh.
Team Green is Alicent and the High Towers.
I haven't heard it referred like that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
They're everywhere online. Almost everyone's Team Black.
Are they really?
Yeah, no one likes fucking Otto. No one likes...
Dude, I like Otto.
I don't like him. He's a piece of shit. I mean, he's great to watch.
I think you don't think he's
a
got
slimy...
the good of the realm?
I think he's a shittier No.
No?
No, he is so petulant. He caused all of this. He's so selfish. And that family don't even know how to give each other a hug, much less...
No, they don't.
They're so bad. Rhaenyra, on the other hand, look at the way she raised her children in comparison. So much better as a queen. Anyway.
Well, it seemed like the advice he was given to Aegon was sound.
Well, yeah.
Good advice.
I mean, he was heartless in the way he was like, yeah, let's use the little boy's body to generate, heat against...
Yeah.
It's sound. It's fucked up.
It worked.
It's cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but he's a piece of shit for causing all the events that got there. The way he manipulated Alice in the first season to lead to all... Like, come on.
To marry Viserys.
And the whole time he's thinking that Alicent, like, joined in on his plan, when in reality she was just being an innocent. Like, she saw Aemon's the last king's last words in his delirium and his death, thinking that he was talking about his son when he was talking about the prophecy. And she just got it confused and it was innocent bystander. And here's Otto thinking, like, way to go, daughter, way to betray like I was doing. Like, oh, I hate that guy so much.
Wait, the king who died was...
Aegon.
It wasn't Viserys?
Viserys? Did I get that wrong?
I think it was Viserys.
I thought Aegon is the current king, the boy, but he was named after his father. I thought that was King Aegon. Or is it Viserys? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. No, you were probably right.
No.
First season was a while back.
I think I'm only saying because I literally looked it up today for Katie.
Then you're right.
I'm sure
you're right. No, you're probably right. Maybe I got it wrong. There's so many names that sound the same.
I know.
That's first.
Because I was like, Alicent was married to...
You want to say Millicent.
was married to the king.
Right.
God, what was the king's name again? And I had to look it up.
Okay, then it's Viserys.
Because I wanted to know who Aegon's father was again, and it was
Viserys. Yeah, she was loyal to... Alicent was a true blue from the get-go. She just wanted to do right by the realm, right by the husband, right by the king, and she did everything, and then still got manipulated, betrayed, mainly by Otto. He's such a manipulator. He got fired from being handed out 3 times, I think. Like, he's such an asshole. He's a piece of shit. And also, don't forget the other guy, their master of whispers, whatever, the foot fetish guy.
Yes. I was going to bring him up, too. Like, that's Varys.
That's Sir Loras. That's Loras.
Right, but in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
That would be Varys.
Right, but but these are worse versions of those. Like, you think of Otto Hightower being the worst version of Littlefinger, because Littlefinger at least was smarter. He maybe not till the end because he fucked up at the end, but he was smarter, and way more conniving, way more like connections. Otto Hightower just sucks compared to him, man. And also Viserys is much better in general as a person than Loras. Fuck Loras. But what I really hate is the Kingsguard guy who sent Arik out to his death. What a piece of shit.
That was a good scene.
It was a good scene, but like he just highlights his piece of shitness, and and that becomes the Hand.
Where were you on the night?
He just wanted
and then
to not feel guilty. That's
where the fuck were you? And of course, he was banging
Alicent.
But no, the black people.
Oh, you meant? Okay, I see. You meant like the Master of Ships and
what's their last name again? They're not Targaryens, are they?
No, they're like one of the original Valyrian families. They're part of
Valyrian,
that.
okay.
But Targaryen is the ruling one in Westeros. But in old Valyria, in the old days,
it was them.
Targaryens were like one of the lower families.
Oh wow!
But they went over to Westeros, one of the first to come over to Westeros. So when they took over Westeros with their never before seen dragons, they obviously became the number ones.
Okay.
But in Valyria, they were nothing, and then Valyria got destroyed, so they became the only ones left.
Damn.
So,
but now, because usually, like the signal is, the white hair Targaryen, right?
Yes, that's a big signal.
But these blacks, they're not Targaryens. Right? Or are they Targaryen?
I think some of them are, but I don't know. There's another name. I don't remember the name they have.
And it's a name we've heard before.
Yes.
Okay. Because the one girl, like when Daemon was storming through the castle, the black girl walked by and said, "Father?" And he just kept walking.
Yeah.
So he fathered one of those...
Well, he fathered Rhaenyra's original king, or the one she originally met, the gay guy, who...
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
In the history books, they claim that he died, of course, because they don't know the truth. And then the show was like, no, we let him go. He was off to Essos somewhere and having fun with his boyfriend.
Gay stuff, okay, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. That was his son. He was so mortified when he was lost and died. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Because Daemon's manipulation piece. Well, don't get me wrong. Rhaenyra said yes to him, too. Rhaenyra is as much fault, but Daemon's like such a conniving asshole too. Wanting to get his grubby hands. Well, he feels wrong the whole time from day one, from having Rhaenyra be considered the next heir when he should be the heir. Right. Such an asshole. Yeah.
And then Viserys' kids are Rhaenyra, Aegon, and Scarface.
And I think there's another one.
I think there's two more.
There's two girls, I think. I forget.
Think we've seen them yet.
No, we've seen them all.
Have we?
We haven't seen Darren yet. He is in Old Town, I think. We haven't met him yet. He has his own dragon. We haven't met him at all.
Oh, okay.
I think you're going to meet him because they mentioned him last episode, so I think you're going to meet him in this season. I just don't know when.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, so I expect some cool stuff from him.
Do you remember the last season, he was the Salt King. Remember the Salt King? He was like literally like half monster.
Are you talking about the crab feeder?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't he the Salt King? Isn't that what they called him?
Is that what they called him? Maybe you're right. I thought I called him the crab feeder.
Crab feeder.
Yeah. That's the one where Daemon just solos him in that cave and kills him and shit. Yeah.
That dude was cool. Like
that was cool.
We need to bring more stuff like that back too.
Yeah.
So that was good. Ghostbusters.
It would try to be fun, which I enjoyed.
Fanfare was great.
Right. I try to have fun. But honestly, I forgot most of the movie.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I cannot stand the girl who's the main character.
Oh, really?
I just did.
I mean, I didn't.
She sucks.
I didn't love or hate her. So.
Yeah, she like. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't stand her. She's just not a good lead. Yeah. There are just so many. Anyway, so we went to the movies for that one. What was some of the fanfare? Like, God, memory's terrible these days.
Did you see that Spider movie?
No.
You heard of it?
Oh yeah,
Sting.
It's on. Is that the one that's on Shudder right now?
Might be both on there. So it was great. So I saw Sting, came on theaters like 2 months ago.
Okay.
It's about this little girl who finds a spider, a black widow, and it grows.
Takes over the apartment.
Right, and it grows huge.
Yeah.
Like it's like an alien spider or something. I didn't love that movie because I feel like it could have gone way further, and it didn't. It felt like it was trying to be PG. I'm like, bitch, go with the horror, god damn it.
Yeah.
And I saw a French movie, also on Shudder. Check it out. It's called Infested.
Yeah, it's one of the main things on Shudder right now.
Yes. Have you seen that?
Dude, no.
It's so good.
No.
It makes you feel like they're all over
Katie,
you.
She's like, I'm not watching
Dude, watch it. I thought of you too because you're so scared of them, but like, oh, come on, watch it.
Dude, we had nothing on. We were totally bored one day.
Dude, there's a scene where there's like a hallway full of all of them rolling everywhere, and they have to go through it, and I was like, yes. Like, I want this more.
No. And Katie, she's pretty much down for anything. She's like, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, no.
So, we haven't seen it.
I figured.
But how was the other one? What was the other one? The other?
Sting is the American one.
How was that?
Like I said, I just wish it went further. For me, it didn't do it.
Is it,
And I mean, it has some cool scenes, but it just tried too hard. No, maybe one time. Infested did though.
No, it looks horrible.
Infested is fucking good.
It looks.
And those are just regular spiders. Well, not regular. They get up to this much, but
Shit. What else?